and welcome in our webinar about recruiting on TikTok. First of all, can everybody see us? Can everybody hear us? Can everybody see our slides? Maybe just type something in the chat so we know that all the technical setup is correctly. Okay, perfect. So welcome in our webinar. It's the first webinar in the Simple history where somebody is joining us and not
just anybody.
Not just anybody. It's our partner at TikTok, Alexandra. She's joining us from Dublin. So welcome, Alexandra, as well.
Having me.
So if you have any questions during the webinar, you can always ask them in the chat via private message or in the normal chat where everyone can see you. And we have foreseen half an hour at the end of the webinar to answer all of them, or most of them. We'll see how much time we still have. And we're also going to launch some polls during the webinar to make it a bit more interactive, because we're talking to our screen, but we know that a lot of people are watching us. We had over 900 registrants, so welcome to all of you. All right, what is on the agenda for today? First of all, Alexandra is going to present her slides. She's going to talk about why TikTok, TikTok products for recruitment, some best practices, some case studies as well. And then we are going to talk about why you should start recruiting on TikTok. We're going to share some successful experiments we've done. I think now a year we've been doing recruitment campaigns on TikTok. So we want to share all our tips and tricks, which we already gathered on TikTok, on the TikTok platform.
Let's introduce ourselves.
Oh, yeah, of course. Sorry.
Maybe just that's my role for today. I will make some comments.
Yes. So my name is Stephanie. I'm the marketing lead at Simple, and next to me stands Mark. He's one of the founders. And then we also have Alexandra, which I already introduced. So what do we do at Simple? We provide qualified candidates through targeted advertising on social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, but also on TikTok for a year now. And we have built a user-friendly software for that, so you can easily set up your campaigns yourself on those platforms. Here you can see some social proof. You can also see some of our customers. We analyze 11 million data points per month to run the best campaigns, to run the best recruitment campaigns for our clients. We've done over more than 8,000. I think it's even more than that now. And what is important, this webinar is focused on paid recruitment campaigns. So you need to have a media budget to run those campaigns. We're also going to talk a bit about organic, but the main focus will be about paid recruitment campaigns. So keep that in mind. Okay. I'll give the word to you then, Alexandra.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
So again, just to clarify, the reason I'm here is to look at questions. We'll come back to the questions at the end, which will be about 50 minutes from now. Okay, go ahead.
Sounds amazing. Thank you, Mark and Stephanie. I can't wait, what good questions you guys have for us. So I'm Alexandra. I work for TikTok, and I'm very excited to be here. First, I'm going to get you through why TikTok. Hopefully, I can debunk some myths for you and get you inspired to use and try the TikTok platform out for your recruitment purposes. So let's dive into it. So TikTok as a platform is a way for you to connect with a new generation of candidates. These can be first jobbers, fresh grads, students who might be looking for internship, but it's also a big chunk of people that are passive job seekers. It's very important to keep in mind that TikTok is a discovery platform. So people are constantly discovering new things, not only products and services, but also ways to enrich their lives. And that's where, job recruitment comes along. And we're already not the new kid on the block anymore. We continue to explode globally. But last year, we hit 1 billion global active users. became the most downloaded app and most visited URL. But now I have a question for you though. How much of a percentage do you think of the people is 25 years or older?
And if all goes well, you should see the poll on the right hand of your screen. So you can actually click there and give your answers. And
Yes, we're
so
very
yes,
excited to see what you think. So how many people do you think are older?
let's
Percentage-wise.
see. So about
Mark, what is the audience saying?
I'm going to say drum roll. About let's say 60% think that they are older than 25. Yeah, interesting.
Yes, that's very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving all these answers, you guys, because this makes it very exciting and interactive. So the drum roll for the answer is that 53%, so 53% of the people is older than 25 years old. So it's a big chunk that, and the platform is growing and maturing when we look at it year over year. Also, why do people come on TikTok? Well, 70%, 75% of the people is ready to be entertained. And it's very good to have in the back of your mind that TikTok is not something that people check. It's more that they watch, like Netflix, for example. And it's also very good to keep in mind where you're on the platform and when you want to enter the advertising space, that you keep it very user-generated like. I will tell you guys more in the best practices to give you more inspiration of how that can look like. A very fun part for me, debunking myths. So you probably have a few, things in your mind why maybe TikTok can be very suitable for you. Well, hopefully I will cover these. But if there are myths or things that you think or want to know, please put it in the Q&A so we can discuss it at the end. Myth 1. TikTok is just a dance trend platform for teenagers. How many times did you hear that or did you think about that? Well, the good thing is that you don't have to be a dancer to run ads on TikTok. Trust me, you don't. And the funny thing is, if you look at the trends in 2021, dancing was not even in the top 3. That ended in 7. The top 3 is daily life, culture, and comedy. Those are the top 3 that had the most video views in 2021. So that's also good to know that that trend, really accelerated in 2022, that people are very much looking for content they can relate to, that they can resonate with, or is in line with, the life or career path. And how do businesses come along in this story? Well, because of this becoming discovery platform, it's a very great way for businesses to become entertainers themselves, within a mission to bring joy and inspire creativity. This doesn't mean that you have to think, outside of the box and be very creative. It can also mean that you, for example, trigger people to enrich their lives. For example, thinking about their next career path or giving them tips and tricks how they can, create transferable skills for jobs that is in the industry. So it can also be inspiring the mind. Well, it's true. My business is already reaching a digital audience, so I don't need TikTok. Well, I will be already very happy, of course, that the platforms that you're using are giving you success. But what is a great way in 2022 maybe to try out TikTok as a channel to diversify? Because there are people on the TikTok platform that are not currently duplicated on other platforms. So it's a great way to reach an existing new audience that you haven't reached before. And the good thing also is TikTok users are ready to connect with brands on the topic of employer branding and hiring. Here you can see the top things TikTok users would like to see from a hiring company on TikTok. On 1, jobs or vacancies. People are very interested what is out there. But also they love to have exclusive scoops, like behind the scenes or live Q&As. Why this is important is because when people try to find a new job, they are very interested in what it's really like, besides, the job vacancy that is written. And we look at education on skills required for a job. You can hop in on the Learn on TikTok trend. People are ready to learn. So in this way, you can also showcase people what, expertise you have in-house, or how people can grow within the company and learn to get them further in their career. So hopefully these can give you some inspiration on what kind of content you can make that people will love to see in their discovery journey. Hit 3. TikTok is not a platform for recruitment. Well, I'm going to get another poll in there. Like, what do you think that the hashtag job talk, how much video views that has currently? So how much time is the hashtag job talk being viewed? So put your answers in the poll, because I'm very interested to see. Because why can it give you an idea? It can give you an idea about the volume of your audience, like what is going on in your field. And Job Talk is there a example from. Mark, what are the results? The results. No? Have some results come in? I think, well, then I just drum roll and give the answer to you guys. It's almost 184 million video views already. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's a whole lot of opportunity for employer branding. Here there are 3 buckets: career talk, advice and tips, internship and first jobs. So how nice would it be to have some investigation as work to see what's going on under those hashtags? What is your audience creating surrounding those topics? But also, what are other creators doing, maybe that are not inside your TikTok audience, so you can get inspiration how you can really resonate with your target audience. So here I brought a few examples of how creators also focus on helping their community to navigate through their career. For example, a career coach, because a lot of people are a little bit, on the fuzz, especially after COVID, like what to do, what makes me happy. Also, recruiters are there showing their life, giving them tips and tricks. Indeed, for example, made demanding jobs as a content creation. So people had an idea what they were offering. But I think what's also very nice to showcase is people that already work in the industry, that are already doing those jobs, because they have the first experience with doing that job. Myth 4. Do I need an organic account to advertise on TikTok? Absolutely not. You can advertise on TikTok without having an organic account. And it doesn't mean that you are, 10-0 behind. Because at TikTok, yeah.
Alexandra, maybe it might be, Alexandra, you hear me?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a good idea to explain briefly what an organic account is. I'm not sure if all users, yeah.
Of course, more than happy to do. So, for example, organic account is really a TikTok profile that you create, for example, that you have an organic app where people are there. So you like users, your audience, all that kind of stuff. You can create an organic account that's not paid. So you can, create a lot of videos and build up your community. But maybe you don't have enough content to create. That's totally fine. Then you can start with paid to already, test things out. Later on, I will tell you where those ads come in. But an organic account is really non-paid content in the TikTok ads platform. I hope that all makes sense. And if not, please do let me know.
Perfect. Very clear.
Cool. Very good to hear. So if you have that, so organic is not needed, because if you have ads that feel like the same as user-generated content and people engage with it, because that's very important, that people, like, click, watch the video 100%. Those are all engagement points that the algorithm will take to see and showcase it to your audience. And that's the For You feed. So what is the For You feed? So it's maybe a good explanation to tell you guys that on TikTok you have a follower section and a For You feed section. The follow section is the people you really follow. So, for example, if I like something, I follow them, they automatically go into the followers page. But on TikTok, what is the most used one is the For You feed. And the For You feed is really a discovery hub of content that you do not follow, but based on the things you watch, the algorithm gives you more content that you would like. So ads will be in the For You feed. And the nice thing is, when people are watching and discovering the platform, your ad will be seen by people that are most likely to find you interesting and engaging based on various data points. Also, our user interface is optimized towards discovery. That's why our For You feed is a big winner, and people are far more on the For You feed than their followers section. And the good thing is, and it's a little bit of a cliffhanger, you don't have to chase any followers to get your content seen on TikTok. So let's see how that goes further. Because now we arrived at TikTok 101. So I already hope I could debunk some myths for you and to get you a little bit of inspiration, like what is possible on the TikTok platform. Now I'm going a little bit deeper on the ad section, but also how the ranking is, to give you a little bit more of an idea how the playing field looks like. But first, maybe a nice fun fact is that 83% of the TikTokers say they actually enjoy ads here. Why is that, you might think? Well, they don't feel like really pushy because they try to showcase something that is valuable. For example, valuable information. Why is a product interesting? Why can this job help me going further? So it's more about the why than per se the what, where people fall in love with. And that had as a result that in 2020 and 2021, TikTok ads ranked at number 1. So people had the most positive experience attitude toward ads at TikTok. And maybe we really investigate as a platform in the algorithm. And our algorithm is based on a content graph. So what does this mean? We try to position ourselves like we are usually called a social media platform. But in fact, we are an entertainment platform. Because not the followers that you have is in the center of the attention, but content is at the heart. So what do people watch? What do they like? So that's very good to keep in mind, because that's the way how we can curate for everybody individually a personalized For You feed. So a personalized page where people can discover content, products, services, and jobs. And factors that can impact your ad rank. Stephanie will go a little bit deeper, but I will just touch base on the top level things of what is important to estimate your conversion rates. We have user characteristics and market factors. Those two you can't directly influence. Just for example, user characteristics. That's something that I'm doing. So for example, I work at tech. Maybe I'm interested, what my next developments can be within TikTok. I'm watching more, TikTok employment videos. That's all that I do. So that's something that I do. And then the algorithm will look at ads that match me, what I like. Then you have market factors. That are the trends that people, hop onto or get converted. I know there's also a question about music all the time. Because as a business, you can't use commercially music. Then you have to license it. But don't worry. We have a library where you can use royalty-free music. And to very understand, it's not about the sound. It's about the sketch and the storytelling that you do. So even though you can't use a trending sound, look what kind of storytelling line is being used. And then transform it to your business. The two that you are able to have some kind of impact on are account history and creative performance. Account history. We have the TikTok's ad manager. That's the platform where you can really manage your ads and load them, make campaigns, everything. it's very important to build up data in your account by creative testing or audience testing. Because the more we know what works for a certain type of audience, the better we can really see who would be resonating with that. And that means your cost can go lower if we really have that idea. So testing is fun and it's still very competitive benchmark-wise. Creative performance. So that's really where you can shine, where you can think outside of the box, but also stay close to yourself. You don't have to, be something as a brand that you are not. Showcase who you guys are because that's what they want to see. And those creative performances, I will give you more tips and tricks on the basis of how you can get that. So we were talking about the in-feed ads for some time. On the right side, you see how a For You page looks like. So people scroll and are chilling and everything. And the in-feed ads are natively embedded into the For You feed. The difference is, though, that you have CTA buttons in there. At this moment, we have 26 different call to action buttons that you can use. So also apply now, discover more, all that fun stuff. So on the right side, you see, and the good thing is the main things are being kept. So people can like, people can comment, and everything. I would just want to give you one thing. If you have an organic account, there is a solution that's called Spark Ads, where you can boost your organic video with payment, so with an ad, and then people can also follow you directly via your ad. So that's still an option if you have an organic profile. But if not, all the other functionalities are there, like likes, shares, and everything. Now I'm gonna give you some TikTok products for recruitment. Like, trust me, I work in there for 1.5 years, and every week something new is being released. But so keep an eye out, and of course, reach out to Simple, so Stephanie and everything, like if there are new products coming out that would be interesting for you. But today I brought 2 specific products that you can use and maybe are familiar with on other platforms. Lead generation. We would love to help you to find the people that want to hear from you and are interested. Because you have to look, like in a discovery journey, there's a big chunk of people that don't really know what to discover, but are interested. So you can tap into a unique engaged audience. 81% says they're gonna spend the same time or more on the platform in the next 6 months. And maybe did you know that some people already watch 1.5 hours on TikTok back to back? It's like a film length that they are watching and consuming. And the advertisers that use lead gen were very satisfied with their cost per lead, 69%. I do want to point out that you can have, the best ad strategy, but if your creatives are not in line, this will have an impact on cost per lead, for example. We have 2 formats for that. When it comes to the lead generation solution, in-app instant form. What is that in short? If people see your video, they click on it and they get an instant form within the app. You see it on the left side as an example. This is very good solution for you because it's very native. It's a very shorter customer journey. It can decrease user form friction, build customer and email lists, and you can also download all those leads, where surveys with 10 or less questions are recommended. So that's an in-app instant form. That all goes within the TikTok platform. But if you're like, I already have a lead form that I'd rather want to use, we have your website form that you can use for lead generation. This is very good to boosting your traffic, to your lead gen. Get qualified leads via website, because what it has been tested, but of course, for every business different, is with in-app instant form, you get a lot of quantity. And with your website form, the journey is a little bit longer, so it can be that, the quantity is lesser. But people that go through that, the quality is usually higher. So these are the 2 things we have that we can drive leads for your business. But also what I do want to say is branding, I do think, of course, it's very important to get those leads in, but making people fall in love with what you have to offer. Like if you add value first, then the leads will follow. And you can do that, for example, with an instant page. An instant page is similar to lead gen instant page, so that it pops up, but only the difference is it's not a form. What you can showcase with, for example, instant pages is a more description of your job vacancies, a higher description of what your company stands for. So people know, oh, do I want to work for this company? I'm very into sustainability. This company is too. Yay. And that's what instant pages can really help. And also to make sure that the bounce rate lowers down and quality goes up. So these are little the products that I think would be very suitable when you start at TikTok to, dip your toes into the water. Now we're going to the creative best practices. Company culture. I already, of course, told you guys that in the first top 3, culture was one of the big topics of video views. Also, company culture is part of that. So we thrive as a platform to bring your employer brand closer to everyone's and people's hearts. How can you do that? I try to, make this as simplified as possible, what kind of creative basic best practices we have. The first one, TikTok first. So make a video that is, very native, that is just filmed on a phone. By the way, that doesn't mean that it's low quality. It just means that it's differently filmed. So for example, if you're filming something that is more polished for another platform, what about making a behind the scenes? Or what about giving that person the phone and talking directly to the video? That's already thinking TikTok first. Sound on, because people love to hear what you're saying. Think local. So if you think about personas, if you think about a strategy, how do you think those people would like to be, talked to? And test and learn, have fun. Also, one thing that I would love to point out is a TikTok safe zone. What does that really mean? Well, sometimes you see at TikTok, if there's a video created, that a key messaging of text overlay is being blocked by the caption that's below the video. So then it's very important, if you have your key messaging with a text overlay, to have that up in your video so people can read it and it's not blocked. And also, that's very good to know, is that strong impact is in the first 3 seconds. The first 3 seconds can really capture people's attention. And that also usually has an implication if people will watch 100% of your video, which means more engagement. So you see, it's a cycle that goes on and on. The video length we usually recommend as a best practice is between 21 and 34 seconds. And have fun with refreshing creatives to avoid creative fatigue. But don't be afraid that you have to have 1,000 concepts to avoid creative fatigue. What you also can do is, for example, think about 2 main concepts and just change the 3 seconds. So you can still do creative testing, but not, with that you have to think about 10,000 creative concepts. So hopefully this can give you a little bit more started on how to get started with TikTok video creation. But it's all fun again, but how does it happen really, in different areas in HR on the TikTok platform? For example, for talent acquisition, you can show off your cheeky, happy culture in your talent acquisition strategy. But also real life, days of the life, really showcasing what people can expect when they apply for the job. Because the realest and most authentic it is, the better. Because then people also have an idea that you're honest, when they get hired, and that you, say what you preach. Talent engagement, by mystifying the stereotype of working in a certain industry. There are a lot of industries that have a certain stereotype. Showcase them that it's not, like debunking myths in a fun way. For example, by showing a day of the life of function XYZ. And then last but certainly not least, talent retention. With your retention strategy, you can really, build up the long term. For example, if you're really into employee education, let people know, because development is very high on the agenda for a lot of people that are going through like career changes. I also brought some because, I just wanted to show you guys some interesting content that is TikTok sound on full screen vertical canvas with entertainment and humoristic twists, but is work related. Let's dive.
Voilà, bienvenue dans la base de recrutement de l'armée de terre. C'est ici qu'on présente nos métiers aux nouvelles recrues. En tant qu'analyste d'écoute, éclaireur ou même linguiste. Et pour toi, on a trouvé quelque chose de bien spécial.
Attends, c'est pas ce que je crois là?
Ouais. Bon, c'est pas évident quand il faut atterrir et je te rappelle même pas quand il faut faire un créneau. Ça, c'est notre département recherche et développement. Je me suis dit que ça te plairait de découvrir les dernières trouvailles de nos...
So you see, with recruitment ad, you can play with animations too, but still, it is in a real environment. Then, for example, CV tips and interview tips.
Ça, c'est quoi?
The company wanted a video cover letter emphasizing the importance of perfection. So I submitted a video of me correcting a typo on their website.
That I can convince you in less than 20 seconds why you should hire me.
So how you can also, twist it around, like how, showcase you why we need to hire you in a good video format. So you can also twist it around as the business point of view. Then, like information sharing.
Something that no one talks about when it comes to negotiating your job offer. The timing of when you receive your job offer is an important data point to consider on how much you negotiate against that offer. Here's what I mean by that. If you receive your offer within 1 to 3, maybe even 4 business days after your final interview, you are most likely the lead candidate. This means after an exhaustive job search of interviewing multiple candidates and most likely bringing 2 to 3 to finals, they've chosen you as the number 1 candidate. I categorize this as medium to high negotiation power for you, as being the number 1 candidate is a very good seat to be in. The number 2 scenario is you get an exploding offer. An exploding offer is typically an offer with an expiration date, usually.
So here you see it really is, being open and transparent, how to be there. Of course, you can twist it around in something else, like maybe how the process will look like, what people can expect, all those kind of things. The open and transparent you are, the better, because people will see otherwise through it. And workplace humor.
What type of employee are you?
Oh my God, you are not going to believe what just happened in that meeting. So I have this thing. Oh my God, I hope it's not an STD. Good morning, happy Friday. Oh my God, there's just so much going on.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea.
That's not the direction we were really going in, but I think if you read it again and really concentrate, you might get it. Oh yeah, of course, I can totally help you. Just give me a second, I'll be right there.
Mm-hmm. So you also see that there are different kind of people in the workplace. So in this way, you can, for example, showcase what kind of, personas are there working in your, company or the job you want to recruit for. So, because sometimes people think, oh, maybe that job is not for me because I'm not an extrovert or something like that. And that way, you can really showcase it's an inclusive and diversified space that you are, for example, recruiting for.
What?
Another good thing is, what happens on TikTok doesn't stay on TikTok. Content that is posted on TikTok usually finds its way through other major social media platforms, and sometimes even offline. So you can also think about a way, like if you are recruiting for a job or something that is physical, to make it something creative for people being able to apply via TikTok QR code or something like that, that people can make a fun resume, and that you guys can then use that and use generated content to search for it and get via that way your candidates. And also define the mainstream, see what is working and make it your own. You don't have to copy paste, just stay yourself and it's all grand. And then case studies. I bought 2 case studies for you to showcase how other businesses have tried this. Also smaller businesses that, got success on recruiting on TikTok. So the first one is Daily You. That's a German catering business where they only even become famous after a TikTok campaign. But why did they even start with it? They wanted to increase brand awareness by improving their community And due to staffing shortage across the food industry, they wanted to showcase the business to attract new talents. They had, for a first-off campaign, very good results. Impressions 370K, with an engagement of 3.7 and a click-through rate of 3.3%. And our benchmark is 1% or more. So they really knocked it out of the park. And they use the solution Spark Ads. So that's the one I've talked about, is when you have organic content and you push that as an ad. And it's maybe also good to know we have a case study hub that's now being, filled with new case studies in the Inspiration Hub. They're not being filled in, but do keep it posted to see like what kind of case studies are coming in there.
Das ist Lazarov. Lazarov hat sich vor 2 Monaten bei uns in La Paz beworben und hat gesagt, ich brauche einen Job. Habe ich gesagt, was kannst du? Sagt er, ich bin fleißig und ich will arbeiten.
So we just saw, like, I'm Dutch, so I can understand German a bit, but here you see that it's just an owner talking with an employee in a very nice way to showcase, how like involved he is.
Alexandra, do you hear me?
Yeah.
Because we have to rush a bit in view of timing. Maybe we can skip. We'll send people the link for the next case study.
Okay. Sounds good. So this is the last one for jobs.ie with reach frequency and everything. So you can have a look at this, how they got recruitment for their website.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Now on to Steph, where she says, more in depth what on TikTok and how to recruit.
Yes. Perfect. Thanks, Alexandra.
And again, maybe in the meantime, to reassure everybody while we're switching screens, I am writing down the questions. So we are going back on all those questions after Stephanie's part now.
Yes. All right. So normally you should see the screen, why recruit on TikTok? If not, leave a comment in the chat. But if all goes well, then we can kick off the recruitment campaigns. All right. Now, first of all, why should you recruit on TikTok? Well, of all the working population, only 20% is actively looking for a job. They're looking on Google, on job boards like Indeed or Monster. But 80% of the working population is maybe not actively looking for a job, but they're open for new opportunities. And you can reach them where they are every single day. And where are they every single day? Well, on social media. They are on TikTok, they are on Instagram, on Facebook, also on LinkedIn. We're going to dive a bit deeper into the recruitment campaigns on TikTok today, but it is important to know that all the other social media platforms like Instagram and Facebook are also good platforms to reach passive candidates for your job vacancies. Now, before you can actually set up your campaign, you need to get some basics, some marketing basics right. First of all, I want to introduce to you the funnel. You can have the recruitment funnel, and a funnel is actually different steps that a person takes. So first of all, you have an application. Someone applies for your vacancy. Then you have the selection process, which is different in every company. And then hopefully at the end, you come to a hire. This is the recruitment funnel, but before the recruitment funnel, you have the marketing funnel. And actually, this funnel is more important to attract candidates to your vacancy page. The marketing funnel can be divided in discover phase, engage, and attract phase. In the discover phase, you will not show your vacancy yet. Like Alexandra already told you, you can also show tips and tricks about your CV, about a job interview, and you know that people that click on that advertisement that are likely to change jobs or are open for a new opportunity. It's only in the attract phase where you will actually show your specific job advertisement for your specific vacancy at your company. This is important because both funnels are linked to each other, and you have to keep those in mind to get the most performant campaigns on TikTok. Now, you also have to install the TikTok Pixel. And maybe, Mark, you can launch the poll, because I'm very curious about who already installed the TikTok Pixel on their website.
So we're eagerly, okay, let's wait for a couple more results. but I think about, let's say, 40% of people saying, what the hell is a pixel? So you might start with that. And only very, very few, i.e. 6% of people have actually installed it.
All right.
So let's take it away and explain what it is.
Yes. So the TikTok Pixel is actually a piece of code that you need to install on your website. We've written a white paper about how to do that. I'm not going to get in those technical setups, but it is important because then TikTok will also track all the steps that a person takes on your website, and it will help the performance of your campaign. So if you haven't installed your TikTok Pixel yet, you should do it actually today, if it's possible, because then you can already track all the visitors on your website, and you can already gather some data to get those recruitment campaigns up to speed. Now, why should you do this? Sorry?
I was just thinking, actually, wait, I missed a poll, and it's my bad, but because of the reaction on the Pixel,
yeah.
I would just maybe like to ask one question, where you already started recruiting on TikTok or not. So let's ask that. That might be interesting to have an understanding of the audience. If you could just briefly answer that. And it's about only 6%. Probably the same people installed the Pixel. So they're working very well and recruiting and installing a Pixel. Well done, guys. No, it's about 10%, so it's a bit higher now. 10%. Okay, good.
Okay,
continue,
cool.
Steph.
All right. So why should you install the TikTok Pixel? Well, first of all, to track conversions. TikTok needs to know when an application has taken place. So TikTok can optimize, well, the algorithm of TikTok can optimize your campaign in the best possible way. The second one is you can also build audiences with it. And I will come back to that a bit more into detail in the next slides. But I hope I already convinced you why you should install the TikTok Pixel. The third thing which I want to share with you is A/B testing. What is an A/B test? Well, it's actually an experiment that you run with one variable that is different. So for example, if you have two pictures, one of a team and one of a person that is working, then test them both, throw them both into the platform. On TikTok, it's of course videos, so you need to have some shots, some video shots. You can easily make videos yourself on the TikTok platform as well. And then you can run that experiment, and after a couple of days, you will already see which one is working best for your target audience, because it's your audience that needs to react on your campaigns, of course. I'm also going to share an example with you guys. Here we have one of our customers, Angie, who was looking for a service engineer in Belgium. So I'm just going to show you really quickly the two different videos. So you see that the beginning, the first shot and the end shots are the same. The difference is that there is a long version on the right hand and a short version on the left hand. And we actually throw them into the platform to see which one worked best. And it was the right one, the long version, who had 18 leads, 7 applicants, and a cost per application of 19 euros. So that's easy to see. Okay, if you have two videos, don't choose them yourself, just throw them in the platform and the data will come out and you will immediately see which one is working best for you.
Maybe just one important point to point out there, that obviously if you want to track applications, that means you have to set up your website so you can actually register data coming from TikTok. You need to do quite a bit of setup. We've also written a white paper about that, and I want to use this opportunity to share a link to our academy. So you should be seeing a call to action now where you can click and become and register for the academy. You can do that later, but at least you have the link there. And there you will find lots of our white papers and webinars to explain in detail how you can set this up. Mm-hmm. Because it's not just putting it on TikTok, you also have to make sure you can actually track the applications. Or you could use an amazing software like the one Simple makes, but maybe I'm just selling already a bit too much.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
I'm going to share, first of all, some successful experiments. But before I can do that, I have to explain to you what is the difference between a lead and an applicant, because it is important to know. So when you choose for the objective traffic, then you show advertising on the TikTok platform. When people click on that advertising, they come to your vacancy page. There they apply. It's simple. We work with an interactive chatbot, but it can be another form on your website as well. And then an application has taken place. But with lead generation, and I will already surprise you, but lead generation works best for recruitment campaigns, well, at least for our recruitment campaigns. And what is a lead generation? Well, then you, when people see your advertisement on TikTok and they click on it, a form opens on the TikTok platform itself. There they can fill in their details, first name, last name, phone number, maybe email address, and then you have a lead. You have an identified person. He or she gets an email where there's a link to the vacancy page. They come on your vacancy page and then they can apply. So it is, you need to know, you need to understand that there is a difference between a lead and an application, because of course you want to have as much as applications as possible, but the cost will be less when you choose lead generation. All right, this was our first, recruitment campaign which we launched on TikTok. I will show you really quickly the video.
Yeah, to all my ladies who got a brother that doesn't treat them right, put your finger right in his face and tell that man bye-bye, I'm too fly.
So this was one of our clients, boutique agency, who was looking for promo girls and boys. And here you can see the results. We had 41 leads. So 41 people have filled in the form on TikTok itself. 18 people actually applied after they received an email. And then the cost per application was only 10 euros. We were really happy with the results. But of course, promo girls and boys are mostly students, or they do it as an extra job. So we thought, okay, maybe we're already we're too surprised for this, so we launched some other campaigns as well. For example, this one, Electrolux, who was looking for an assistant service consommateur. C'était une vacancy en
français.
En français.
International.
So I will show you the video really quickly. All right, and these were the results. So we had 75 leads, 14 people actually applied, and the cost per application was €9.52. You see that there is some of conversion loss between leads and applicants. You will always see that because, of course, well, they're scrolling on the TikTok platform, they leave their details, then they receive an email, but maybe they think, oh, gosh, it's really an application. I don't want to apply, so they don't apply. But at the end, the cost per application was still quite low, so we were very happy with the results. I will come back into detail how you actually set up a campaign later, but I just also want to point out that you can do recruitment campaigns on TikTok for every profile. Here you see, for example, one of our customers who was looking for a construction engineer, which is quite a high profile in construction. I will show you the video first. And I just want to show you that the cost per application can be also high. Here it was 77 euros, but it was still low comparing to the other platforms as well. And we were actually really happy with the results. But just so you know that it's not every campaign that we run that it's 10 euros per application. If you're looking for someone who has a master, who speaks 3 languages, kind of a headhunter profile, then of course the cost will increase a bit for your applicants. All right, now how do you set up a campaign? First of all, you need to know how a campaign is set up and what are the elements that you need to provide. You have to choose your objective, which I will come back to in the next slide. And then in the ad group level, which is underneath the campaign level, you have to define your audience, so your targeting. You have to define your budget and your bidding, because TikTok is a bidding platform. But it is important to keep in mind that you're bidding against people that also want to reach your audience. So it's not the competitors of your company. So please keep that in mind. And then, of course, the ads level. This is where you have to upload your video and where you can briefly write a call to action as well. Now, like I already told you, these are all the objectives which you can choose from on the platform, but lead generation works best for us. And we are data driven, and I want to prove why we actually choose lead generation. Well, we did some experiments, and I will show you one. We choose traffic against lead generation. And the results were that actually with traffic, there were no applicants. And with lead generation, there were 18 applicants, and with a cost per application of 10 euros. So just so you know that, okay, if you think about it beforehand, then of course you want to have as much as applicants. So maybe you can choose conversion or traffic, but try also lead generation. It is an extra step for the applicants, but it works. Then, of course, you have to define your target audience and think about it before you dive into TikTok Ads Manager, because there are some options and you can get overwhelmed by it. So think about it beforehand. You can choose, of course, some demographics. You can choose an age range, languages as well, and also the location. It is important to keep in mind that for Belgium and the Netherlands, you can only target country-based. TikTok is working on it to develop it as well for regions, but it's not in all countries in Europe that you can already target region-wise. For example, in France, you can already do it, but in Belgium and Netherlands, it's country-based. So you need to be specific in your video and tell immediately where your company is based and where the person will work. Then there are lots of interests to choose from on the TikTok platform itself, and I will come back to that as well. And then the third one, and I think this is the most important one, is data. Like Alexandra already told you that TikTok is also going to have a look at your account history and about all the recruitment campaigns that you already have run. And also the TikTok Pixel, if you have already installed it, you already gathered some data and you have, you're a bit before the other ones to actually do some good targeting on the TikTok platform. Now, what are those interests and what is interesting for your recruitment campaigns? Well, here you see, which is a slide from Alexandra, you can see that there are some interests and sub-interests and some hashtags as well who are related to recruitment and who are related to jobs, and you can choose them. You also see that there are lots of people that have interacted already with recruitment campaigns. But we also recommend you to have a look at all the interests, because if you're looking for an account manager, you maybe find an interest concerning about account management or sales or something else. Now, how can you actually build audiences through the Pixel? Well, first of all, you can target people who visited your website. This is important because people who visited your website are already interested in your company. You can also upload a list of people with a bit of a side note that you need to be whitelisted by TikTok to actually do this already. Now, if you work with Simple, then of course we are whitelisted thanks to Alexandra, so we can already upload a list of people. So if you, for example, have a list of sales managers and you're looking for a new sales manager, then we can upload those on TikTok. But then, of course, we won't target those people because they are already working at you. But this is where lookalike audiences come in. What is a lookalike audience? If you have a custom audience, so a list of people or persons that already visited your website, that's a custom audience. But you can broaden that audience and build lookalike audiences from it. And what is it? It's actually that TikTok will look at all the behavior and the interest that they're doing on TikTok and then broaden that to find similar people on the platform. This is really, really good to target, to broaden your audience. Now, how much budget do you need to provide to run recruitment campaigns? You need to have at least 20 euros a day because you have to define your budget on the ad set level, on the ad group level. And this is the minimum, but we recommend to do, to run A/B tests because of course you want to know which audience is working best for you, which video is working best for you. So this is the minimum, but we recommend to spend even a bit more to run an experiment as well. And like Alexandra already told you guys, these are all the factors that impact your ad rank. Keep that in mind. Your account history, creative performance is also important to have good campaigns on TikTok. You can also have a look at the creative center of TikTok. I want to go live, but maybe we're a bit...
We'll share the link.
Yeah.
Maybe explain what it does.
Yeah. So here you can search for any ads or any industries that already run recruitment campaigns on TikTok, and you can see all their ads that they run right now. So for example, if you have a technician function, then you can type in technician in Belgium, for example, and then you can see all the ads that are related to technician advertising. It can give you some inspiration about how your video should look like because you're competing against those people that also want to reach technicians.
This is a bit, because there was a question earlier from Bram, I think, on the Facebook Ads Library. It's comparable, but I think it's even better because you can start looking at specific content on Facebook Ads Library. You're limited to the pages or the brands, and you have to look for brands. Here you can actually go and look at the content that is being used in those videos. So it's a really great tool.
And I can see you guys also there.
Yes. By coincidence.
Yes, exactly. Totally random.
All right. Now, once you've defined your audience, once you've defined your budget, you have to make your video itself. And we want to share some tips and tricks about how your video should look like. Okay, so first of all, of course, you need to have a video. It's a vertical video because people are scrolling on their smartphone and you need to take up the whole smartphone to actually pop out with your advertisements. We say at least 10 seconds, but we know from our experience that long videos work better. So it needs to be at least 10, but it can be even more. And like I already told you in the beginning, you need to have specific copy. The first shot is really important because that's where you have to attract the right candidate for the right region with the right experience. So think about the first shots really carefully. And then use authentic pictures. Like you already see on this example from Westmalle, we used actually some shots of a video, of a company video that they have. You don't need to have a video. You can also use pictures and make a video of those pictures as well, but make it dynamic and use authentic pictures. I know you can find lots of images on the internet, but we know that authentic pictures work better. Why? Well, people want to know where they are going to work, with who they are going to work, and that's where the clicks come from. Use also uniform communication. If you show your brand, if you show your branding colors, then show that also on your vacancy page. So if people click on your advertisement and they come on your vacancy page later, that they see that, okay, I can remember it, it's the same brand, it's the same colors, and maybe implement also some pictures that you use on the video on your vacancy page as well. And then the last one, and I think that's also an important one, keep the platform in mind. TikTok is a platform, like Alexandra already told you, that they're watching it really actively. They're watching the videos really actively. So make it dynamic. Use good music and be specific, so that the people you want to target, they stop scrolling and they watch your video, and then hopefully they click to fill in the lead form.
Can I just pick up on that, because I think now the next part is where we go live.
Yes.
Because there's been quite a bit of questions, and I hope you can hear me. There's been quite a bit of questions on, well, the videos you've shown look like advertising. You should make TikToks, not ads. Make it look more like organic. And that's all very, very, very true, right? But I just want to put some context around that, because it's important to understand that we are not only advertising on TikTok. We go across a broader mix, and we try, obviously, for our customers to combine as many visuals and as many campaigns into one campaign across different challenges. That shouldn't stop you, if you have the time and the budget to do so, to add extra organic looking ads into that. And you can mix them up with A/B testing to check what works best. Mm-hmm. But the setup where we work is that way. We always look at how do we can work across platforms and make the most effective campaign in that way. We'll come back to any Q&A because there've been lots of questions. I just want to kind of already park that. Good.
All right. Then we're going.
I think, well, we'll just show that, quickly show the videos, maybe.
Right.
So what we just want to show is that, as we've mentioned before, we actually have developed some software to help you, because not everybody has the time to do this. What you'll see here in our software is the possibility to, let's assume, yes, you can play. Let's assume you're looking for barista. You can type in the function you're looking for, the function type, and then our system will start looking at all relevant data for that function. You can give the geography, and then that will help our system understand what kind of function you're targeting. In this case, you're looking for a barista in Manhattan, right? That's the only setup you need to do from a targeting perspective. And then in our tool, you can also start building ads, and then obviously you can choose the different formats. You can also upload a TikTok ad, obviously, but also some other platforms where you can easily, within our software, change pictures if you would want that. If you kind of want to move that into a different format, work on the resizing, all of that can be done within the tools. So you need no marketing experience, no Photoshop experience. You can just set up those different ads. If you add a different picture, we will automatically A/B test to help you understand which one of those is working best. And the only thing you have to do then after selecting your ads is setting up your budget. And our system will then start spreading that across different channels, how much on TikTok, how much on Facebook. And once you go live, and we'll take the same example that Stephanie had already shown on NG for the campaign. There were some questions there. You will then be able to track into our system impressions, visits, how many applicants, which campaigns are working, which variants of the campaign are working, which A/B testing was successful, yes or no. So if you want a shortcut to getting some of the data-driven recruitment live, you can always use our software, and we'll share a link for a demo later on. Mm-hmm. So to cap what we do, we help you do all of the automated testing, the data analysis, all of that is done under the hood. You need no understanding or learnings from this. You just need to kind of write some text, find some visuals, and then put that live, and our software will do all the rest. Good.
All right, we've almost come to the end, and we're almost going to answer all your burning questions.
Yes.
But we will point out that there is still a long way to go on the TikTok platform itself. For example, the country targeting will be hopefully soon into region targeting as well. But what you can already do is you can already install the TikTok pixel, so you can already start gathering data from your website, from your visitors. You can already have a look at the Creative Center. It can give you some inspiration about what you have to show in your video, what other people are telling in their video as well. And then the last one, and this is important, test and learn. If you want to launch campaigns on TikTok, but not only TikTok, also the other social media platforms, there isn't a silver bullet which you can use for every campaign. If you're looking for an engineer, let's say for Coca-Cola, well, I can tell you that if you're looking for an engineer for iced tea, the same campaign won't work with the same results. So test everything again, launch different videos on TikTok so you immediately see which one is working best. Test some audiences, maybe from your pixel, maybe from a custom upload, to see which one is working best, because you have to reach the target audience for your vacancy, of course. All right, then I think it's time for the Q&A.
Yes, and we have a long list. I've been busy copy-pasting all those questions in here. Maybe one question which has come back quite a few times, Alexandra, is on the regional targeting. And people have learned that in some countries you can do regional targeting, not yet for the Benelux. So can you maybe give a bit of background on where TikTok is on that?
Yeah, good question. I saw them also rolling in. Let me tell you, I would be very happy when I can say that it's, there. What I can say is that development team is aware, they are working on it. Unfortunately, I don't have a date, but know that your feedback is coming in and that I pass that forward. So we have a priority. What I did see like a question is you can target languages. So for example, if you target Belgium, you can target only, Dutch speaking or Dutch Flemish speaking or English or France. So the language part is there, but unfortunately, the regional targeting is not there, but maybe can be as a workaround. I know it's not the regional targeting yet, but what you can do is in the first 3 seconds, make sure that the place where the vacancy is to put that in a text overlay. So people will not look further or click further if you are, if you see vacancy in Amsterdam and you live in Paris, I think, that's very
yes, that's exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's also what we do. We use languages to kind of, at least for Belgium, make the split between Flanders and the south of the country. There were some people trying to solve that by putting their ads in English, but I'm assuming that's probably not the right way to go, because then you will be shown across the whole of Belgium. Yeah,
like indeed, the best practice is the local, the better. So if you want to have, Flemish, better to have a Flemish/Dutch version and a French version to make sure that, it resonates even more. That's the best practice,
Yeah. Then there was some, again, to stay within the targeting region, there were some questions on, is it possible to target bachelor and master profiles, specific skills, specific regions? Steph, maybe you want to pick up on that, on how we try to do that?
Yeah. So there are some skills which you can find on the TikTok platform itself. You can search for them once you create your advertisement. But also those things, take that into account when you create your video. If you really need to have a master or a bachelor degree, then tell that just in your video. Maybe not the first shot, but second shots will be fine. So be specific in your copy of your video ads.
Yeah. There was a question on relating back to the changes in the targeting of Meta. So maybe I'll just give a bit of context on that. Meta, or the Facebook platform, and including Instagram and everything which is on that, on the 7th of December last year, they introduced what is called special ad categories, meaning that for amongst other being employment advertising, there's a lot of targeting options not available anymore. Age, gender, specific location, specific interests, etc. That is not yet the case on TikTok, where there's no difference between employment ads and no ads. But there were some questions, Alexandra, on whether there are any plans on the side of TikTok, or whether you have any visibility on that, or whether it will stay as it currently is.
For now, like I can never make any promises, of course, but for now we haven't heard anything in the new quarter at least that this will change. Like that we still use this kind of ability to target, so you can still do age, gender, and everything. I didn't have any things about that yet, so hopefully that can help you, to diversify, to see, if TikTok can be a suit for your business, because we do have indeed, I think Stephanie said it so good about the targeting and everything, that the copy is very important, but we do indeed have additional interests in bachelor's degree, Bachelor of Commerce, Bachelor of Technology. So we do have those. It will be not as extensive that, for example, other platforms had, but they are, making it bigger and bigger.
Maybe if you can pick up on that, I think Stephanie also mentioned that, it's good to start learning and working with TikTok at the moment. If there's one thing we learned, is that because of the changes in Facebook, it's good to have lots of data already on your consumers, knowing what they are about, so you can adapt to the changes that are there. So, of course, and I perfectly understand, Alexandra, there's no way of looking into the future what might be done, but there's even more reason to start collecting data now. Install the TikTok pixel next to the Facebook pixel, right? With a nice, right next to each other, and start collecting data, because the more data you have, the more you'll be prepared for possible changes in the future. There was a very specific question. Are there any numbers available regarding Spark ads versus regular ads? I guess that's a question for you, Alexandra.
Yeah, well, I can't say to the top of my head, but I do have, I've worked with partners that tested it out. I think the good thing is to know with Spark ads, for example, is the engagement rate will be, for example, higher. So people will do a certain action that comes to liking, commenting, and everything. However, if you have a specific need that people need to go to your website, if that's a core objective, then a non-Spark ad would be much more suitable, because people are not just, flowing around to your organic page and doing other things, but then they go directly to what you want them to do. For example, filling in a form, providing their information, all that kind of stuff. So I would always recommend a mix if it's possible, because you want to have the community building, but also you want people to do what you want them to do. And then with Spark ads, it can be that they just, wander around on your organic page and don't go to the traffic.
There's a question just coming from Caitlin. Do you need a professional account for Spark ads, Alexandra?
Yeah, a business account is needed for Spark.
Okay.
Yeah, well, let me rephrase. You can only use Spark ads when you have a TikTok's ad manager. So, but businesses that want to work with creators, for example, they can give you the video code, and then you can boost their video, if that makes sense. So to be able to use Spark ads, you need to be a business with a TikTok's ad manager, and then you have to have a business account organically, but you can push content of creators if they give you the video code, but it's all through the platform. Okay.
There's a couple of questions which I think are more organic, but I just want to kind of, in the interest of completeness, also tackle those. Lots of questions on, if we post organically, what would be the best rhythm, the best frequency to do that? I don't know if there's a best practice on that or not, Alexandra?
Yeah, so there are a couple of best practices. So usually it is, if you have the bandwidth, of course, of course, the best practice is always, posting every day. But we know that's a lot of work. So what I would always recommend is to try at least to do 2 per week if possible, to get that data in, because it's everything about getting data in, getting to know your audience, so you know in what content you need to invest. So because then you can get the rhythm out. But at least 2 times a week is recommended for business accounts, at least.
Okay. Again, well, question about using user-generated content into your ads. Apparently Garnier is doing something like that. Is that something where you have data on, whether that's interesting to do? Do we know? The question is also, do we know if that's being used in recruitment? I haven't seen that yet. But maybe as a more general question then to you, Alexandra, is using user-generated content in your advertising advisable or not?
It is advisable, especially if you don't have any native content. Like, we talked about it. I saw a lot of people, I saw a very good video also from Simon. I watched it. So it's good. It's in our best practices too. So then it looks like user-generated content. If you don't have that, I would very much recommend to use content that's already there and people would love to collaborate. So that's always advisable. But for branding, because we do know, some people don't have time to make TikTok first content, and they want to test it out, in various platforms. You can do that, for example, more for branding, but for really, if you can have the user-generated content, it's better to test, because we do see, for example, when with your examples, you had very good results. So it doesn't mean you can't have good results if it's not TikTok first. It's just maybe you had different results, or maybe amplified results, So it doesn't mean that if you don't have user-generated content, then there's no success at all.
Yeah.
I wanted to put that out there.
Okay. There were a couple of questions on when we were showing the cost per application, people asking for how many hires were there. We're not going to go and run through all the examples, but just as a general comment, we've only given examples of where our customers were happy with the inflow from TikTok. So from boutique agency, I know they hired a couple of people. Also the other examples we've given. We don't give cost per hire now. For now, the cost per application was mainly calculated on the media cost divided. That's how we kind of do the cost per application. The cost per hire for our customers, we're then kind of also including some other costs. That's also why we're not sharing that at this stage. But the examples we have given, all of those have resulted in candidates being hired. Then again, and I think that's a copyright issue, but people asking whether they can use pictures and video snippets from shows and movies. My reaction would be probably not, but to ask the expert. Alexandra, what's your professional view on that?
Yeah, no, unfortunately not. It's the thing is, sometimes you will see it, and usually with those kind of things, people are lucky that they didn't get flagged. So, that's the thing. Some people say, I advise, don't use trending sounds, but other businesses are doing it too. I hear that a lot, and I understand and hear you. It's more like when you get caught, if a rights holder goes to you hey, you're using footage of mine or music of mine, there's nothing that we can do. That's a little bit of thing. So there are people that use copyrighted, but if you really don't have the rights for music or music video or video, I would recommend just to stay away from it. Maybe make a nice sketch of it yourself, with an own twist in it. Have fun with that, but I would recommend to stay away from that.
Yes, and I think maybe not everybody was following that, but as you mentioned, there is a resource on TikTok where you can actually have TikTok approved music that you can actually use and are allowed to use there. 100%. There's a question, I have to admit, I don't fully understand it, so I'm just going to read it. Can you preload video, or do you also have to upload videos to every channel, especially Instagram and LinkedIn, at a scheduled moment? I'm assuming, because that question was at the end, it's about how we use our software. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to answer that. You only have to upload the videos you want to use for each of the channel. You upload that in our software. You will then give us an indication of the budget you want to spend. Okay, Dimitri, sorry. Thanks for a follow-up. No, in our software, you upload it into our software once, and then we will make sure it gets distributed across the different channels and test it also if you have different versions there. Okay, I'm running through my list here. I think I've ticked off most of the boxes. Just gonna go live into the chat. Are there any other questions here? Let's check. There's a question, when it comes to TikTok ads, is it better to make a video without speech but with music or with speech as well. So maybe the question is there a benefit in using speech in the ads?
I would say, and of course you guys can also, what do you think? But I say yes, because it's a combination always. So I would always use a sound, but not like 100%. So it's because it's very nice to hear what people are saying in the video. So put it as a background music and talk to the people, because if you talk, directly to the camera, if you just have your phone and you talk and just speak to them, it comes very much authentic because people feel like they're being talked to. So if you can use a real voice, a real human voice, of course, a robot voice is some kind of trend, but for people like recruitment and everything, you want to be as personal as possible. I would highly recommend using a voice, having a background music, and using text overlays, so it's very clear what you are saying. So really, amplifying. If you say, I'm hiring for travel, that travel is underlined with a text overlay. So it's all one synced story in a TikTok video.
Okay. And then almost at the end here, is it possible to advertise for another company as an agency, just like Facebook under its own business manager? Question to you, Alexandra. I'm assuming that's possible, yes?
I'm gonna read it. Yeah, that's something, there's a lot of, it's true, like there's lots of discrepancy usually with Google Analytics, like Google via Google Tag Manager and what TikTok is distributing. But I would recommend to have a better view of what the TikTok impact is to make sure that when we have launched Attribution Manager, it's a little bit more technical, so sorry for people that can, but if you are doing the pixel, on the right top corner, you have Attribution Manager to make sure that the attribution window that you set for TikTok is as broad as possible, so you have a better idea of what is happening and what the impact is. I do know it's a little bit difficult because it's a little bit apples and pears sometimes when you use, 2 different platforms, but hopefully that can help a little bit with the discrepancy. You can do UTM tagging indeed in the ad creative section. So when, in the link of your ad, you can put the UTM in there. Those are things that are helpful. And maybe also to make sure if you analyze data from Google and TikTok, to make sure that you are, using the same metric. But I do know that, for example, if you see clicks on TikTok and clicks on Google, that's different metric, for example, because clicks are all the clicks on the ad. So then it's better to look to page views, for example, on TikTok.
Okay. Then maybe a question for Steph. What about reaching executive profiles? Is there an audience for that on TikTok?
Yeah, I don't know, Gilles, if you're still there, but can you maybe elaborate a bit more about what you mean exactly by executive profiles? Yeah. Can you be a bit more specific? Because it's really
I would assume maybe just to put a stake in there. I think it's probably more senior profiles.
Okay. All right. Well, we've done some senior profiles as well. Like, for example, the construction engineer, which I showed you, that was a senior profile. They need to have a master degree and also minimum 5 years of experience. So yes, you can reach those on TikTok. But you need to think about what your audience is going to like from pictures. Be specific in your copy. If you're looking for an experienced profile, a senior profile, then mention that. I mean, you can target also on age on TikTok, which you can't do anymore on Facebook and Instagram, which is of course an advantage to use TikTok. And like Alexandra already told you, like 53%, I think it was, is older than 25 years old. So yes, you can reach those, but you need to be creative in your video and also in your targeting.
Maybe to give a very kind of real-life example, we have been using social media to target, for instance, lawyers with 5 to 10 years of experience. That is working well. But for instance, for senior corporate lawyers or very niche functions, it's not working well. One of the conclusions also being is that those kind of roles are for people who are expecting to get a phone call from a headhunter, and they're not really used to clicking on a social media ad. So if you've been with executive profiles, more VP or CEO level, I probably wouldn't use TikTok on that, or make sure you have a very, very big budget, right? And then also spend it through us so we can profit from that also. Okay, there's a question on a good question, I think, on the connection between TikTok ads and Google Data Studio. We have built that, Steph, so I'm not sure whether we use a native, there's a native solution, but I think we're using the API.
Yes,
Yeah.
we do use the API for that one.
So I don't think, but maybe Alexandra, whether you know whether there's a native connection between Google Data Studio and TikTok. I don't think there is. And there's no, I see from your frowning that there probably isn't. So no.
Oh, no, but I know of, like, things go so fast here. So correct, like, keep me honest. But no, not yet, but that I'm aware of, no.
So Bruce, if you want to do that, it is possible. We have done so, and that's also part of our software. But you'll have to go and look at the API to do so. Okay, there was a couple of questions. Elke asked it again. There was some questions also about what hashtags you should use for your ads. And do we have any learnings on that? I think maybe better for example, Alexandra.
Yeah, so hashtags is only, so when we talk about ads, hashtags are only possible with Spark ads. So the one that you organically boost. But I would always recommend is don't overflow and don't use the biggest hashtags. You know, you have, of course, job talk is amazing, but if you're starting out and you want to be more specific, I would rather go for 3, like medium or micro hashtags. So if people land on that, they will see your video quickly more popping up. And that with micro, I mean like only 100 views, but just, that have at least maybe 50K views or something. So you have visibility that people see you through that hashtag.
Okay. Question from Nikki. Is there a difference in reach when you have an organic account or a normal account? But I guess a normal account would then be a business account, or
Can you elaborate? It would be amazing if that's a business account or organic account. If I talk about business and organic accounts, no, it's all about your content and the engagement you have with the community. Doesn't matter what kind of type, it's all about, what your audience is doing. That's why shares, likes, comments are important, but also that people watch the full video of, the full length of your video. But also what I did see, sometimes people just did 5 seconds, so they know 100% will be viewed. I would not recommend that either, because then it's not really helping your purpose.
Okay, I'm just going, but I think because I copy pasted most of the questions here, I think we tackled most of them. Then just have a look here. It's a question in Dutch from Lisa on making ethical ads. I'm not sure what you mean, Lisa, with ethical ads, but I think, just maybe to pick up on that, I think you just make sure you don't make any claims that are not right, are not correct. Obviously, you control the message on there. And a question from Dimitri on some political distrust and reluctance to advertise. Yes, we have customers, or when we talk to people, obviously there's always questions on using social media. But I think, we can have a long debate on that here or off the record. I think you just have to kind of take the information that is there and just make a decision on whether you're willing as a company to go online, to go on social media, whether that be Facebook, TikTok, or Instagram, and just make a company decision on how you want to deal with that. Okay. Yes.
Okay. I'm just really quickly going to share my screen again. So, because of course, I mean, you can always have some new questions also for the people that aren't watching right now. You will receive the recordings. So if you're watching it then and you have some questions still for Alexandra or for me or Mark, then we're of course really happy to help you, and you can send us a private message on LinkedIn. If you want to know what Simple can do for you, or if you want to have a demo of our tool, of our software, then Mark will share now the link to get access and to plan a demo with us, so we can help set you, we can help you with recruitment campaigns on social media, of course.
Good, and I think, let's just have a look. All people sending thank you and telling that the webinar was fantastic and the best webinar they've ever experienced, you know, and they will vote for us in the Oscars. Thank you very much for that. But I think this is a good moment to wrap up. So I'll let you do the wrapping up,
yes.
Stephanie.
All right. So thanks everyone for joining us. We were very happy that you were with so many people here. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you've learned something about recruitment campaigns on TikTok or on TikTok itself. We also, Mark and me, of course, and the whole Simple team want to thank Alexandra for being here.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. It was great. The preparation and everything was a lot of fun, and you did great. So thank you so much.
Can I also say, like, thank you so much?
Yes, you can.
No. I just really appreciate you having me here, you know, seeing what's going on in the market, because I love to hear from everybody, and thank you so much for giving us this platform. Loved collaborating, loved all your questions and interactions. Like, really, thank you all. Really had fun.
All right.
I'm not crying, you are.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great time.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Bye.